melee. Would you mind moving so that we could maybe, I don't know, we could maybe start recording this class? What do you think? Snooppervisors to the rescue.
Let's
Hey.
move the top one on
Hey,
too.
beautiful. You want to move? Come in. Move your little body. Move your little body.
Look at her. Come on. Come on this way.
We thought that we'd just get a shot for you,
This way.
Carissa. That's just too cute, isn't it? Hi, and welcome to another Tangle Time hour, whatever, with me, Aleesha Sattva at drawingXpressions. So we've been doing different tangles each time we've gotten together. And I want to introduce you to a tangle that I shared with you, but I didn't teach you how to do it. And so it's called Ribbonz. And I created this by accident about, I don't know, it's years ago. Anyways, I was trying to make another tangle and I couldn't make it. And I've never been able to make it, by the way. It's like a flag curled. I've never been able to make that tangle. So when I was trying to make it, I made this and I really liked this. And so then I just kept making it. And I've taught it before and people have a hard time learning how to do it. So I'm going to teach it to you today, step by step, moment by moment, and you can replay until you get it. I think it's really quite a simple tangle. So I think it just, once you get it, you get it. You know, it's just one of those things. Once you get it, you get it. And today, I'm going to help you get it. So here we go. I brought my, this is my usual kit that I carry around with me. So it has an assortment of Copics, both black and gray. And then on the other side, it has some Torleons and some grays and blacks, as well as a couple of markers. So this is what we're going to work out of today. And I'm going to go ahead and grab the 07 of my Copic multiliner. And I think I'm going to grab, let's do the brush pen and the 03 of the gray. It's always hard to get out of the bin. Sorry, I'm looking down instead of looking at you. That's really not all that terribly polite, is it? Anyways, so we've got a couple of things here. I'm going to set this off to the side. Now, we have not locked my snooppervisors away. So, although they are not here helping in this moment on camera, they are circling their wagons, so to speak. So, if you end up with a cat, we have 5 on screen. Be patient with me, I'll get them moved. And Carissa, the queen of editing, will edit out what needs to be edited out. So, let's get started. All right, enough rambling. Enough rambling from Aleesha today. But we have not taken a breath. So, put down our pens. Let's close our eyes. Take a beautiful deep inhalation of breath and hold it for a count of 3. And exhale. And let's do that one more time. A beautiful intake of breath. Hold it for a count of 3. And exhale. Okay, here we are. Getting ready, do some art together. Okay, so I've been trying to think about what the best way is to sort of demonstrate this. And I think the easiest way is just to sort of use most of the page. So in the center, I'm going to do a circle, sort of, kind of, just light. Nothing too crazy. And I'm going to come back along it and I'm going to do a second line. There we go. So I've just got this little half moon circle. That's it. Now I'm going to work off of this. It's just a starting point. So because they're coming off of this, I'm going to make it like the ribbon starts with a little hook. So I'm going to do a hooked edge as though it's coming around this, but the ribbon is starting now. Okay, so we're going to come down. We're going to do the simplest form first. We're going to come down and we're going to do a gentle curve at the end. That's it. Very simple. Now from this curve, we're going to go back and we're just going to gently back and forth, do little long lines crossing from one side to the other. They don't have to look like anything particular. There's no right or wrong way. That is ribbons. I know, right? So then we're going to come back on this one and we are going to put perfs. So we're going to put one on the end. Now we want to make sure that we know the difference between the line we drew second, which is the curvy line, and the line we drew first, which is the straighter line. So we want to work on the curvy line. And of course, if you want to work on the other line, you go ahead because you do you. So I'm just going to add, these are called perfs, P-E-R-F-S. That is a Zentangle term for these little dots. And I found when I did this the first time, this is how I did it. What you're seeing right now is pretty much how the first one looked that I created. And I put the perfs on because I wanted to somehow make that edge look nicer. And I was shocked to find that I had this beautiful lacy ribbon. Like this just sort of created itself in front of me out of a mistake. I know, right? All mistakes are opportunity. All of them. We learn best from our mistakes. So this is one of my favorite mistakes that I've made. Isn't that pretty? Like, it's just so pretty. I'm gonna hold this up beside me. Isn't that just so pretty? Simple, just hanging down a ribbon, and you can see that second line just undulates back and forth, right? Okay, so now that you've gotten the concept that it undulates back and forth, now I'm gonna do another one beside it. So this one, again, I'm going to curve it so that it comes around. This one, however, this little ribbon, it's a little bit more rogue. It's gone a little bit crazy. So the beauty of this tangle is that you can have that second line of your ribbon. It can come out really far, it can be really close in, it can be a square shape, it can be a triangle, it can be whatever you want it to be. Okay, so we're going to come back around. I'm going to show you again. I'm just going to do a different way of sort of undulating these. So this second one I'm going to show you, I come around really big and then I cut deep in. So I go straight down and I come around, so I've got a nice big swing on there, and I go up, and I'm going to come around again, and down, and around, so this has come off the page. I'm going to bring it up here, and to there. Okay. So now we can fill that in however we want to. And so what I'm going to do, I think this would be really nice with some holes in it. So I'm going to decide how I'm going to put the holes, and I've just made the decision now. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to put little holes of different sizes in these. But the key is, I'm going to start off by putting a big hole in first. And then after I've got this done, let's clean up those edges a little bit. then I can decide if I want another one in there. And I think I'm going to just put small ones in this smaller space. And then just the big ones in here. This is such a fun tangle. This is, however, a tangle that it's not, I don't want to call any tangles mindless, because I think that it's very important that we're always mindful whenever we're doing anything creative. I think it's really important to be mindful in that moment. Use it as a form of meditation. At the same time, there's tangles that you can do that you don't really have to think about. This is not one of them. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so this one, its hole that's cut out is going to be mostly off screen. This is just the tape from the crystal paper. Say that all of my snooppervisors, aka cats, are ignoring me. And that is awesome. Okay. I hate coloring in black, so I'm grabbing a black brush pen. Let's get this finished, because oh my gosh, life is too short to blacken in spaces. Okay, let's keep moving. Got that one done. That edge a little bit. Put some circles in here. Okay, so there's a second one done. Now we haven't done any shading on these. And each one will be shaded individually. We will do them, but there isn't like a one way of shading, other than you can darken in wherever you twist, and that helps to highlight that twist a little bit more. Here, let me just do this right now. Let me show you right now what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'll go in here and I will do my shading. Now usually what I do is I highlight on this one, the twist, and then I run my pen down that edge that has the perfs, just to add a bit more weight and shadow to it is usually how I do it. You guys don't know it, but I have taken a couple of weeks off. Had a few things that I needed to do in life. So it's nice to be back. Okay. So this is pretty much how simply I shade this. So it is just very subtle. Very subtle. Okay, let's move on. Gonna do another one. Gonna do it over here because I don't want it to go behind anything. Once you start weaving this behind things, it gets a little bit more complicated to keep track of which is your first line and which is your second line. And so when you're first learning to do this, I recommend that you practice it, do lots of them, add them to whenever you're drawing. And then as you get more confident with it, then start taking it behind things and experimenting. And like, it's super fun to sort of weave through things. But as you can see, you can make them look very, very different. So let's do one here. And let's start off with our first line. Let's just do more of a circular. There we go. There's our first line. And when I draw this, I usually don't pick up my pen at the end of the first line. I just keep going and whatever goes on the page goes on the page. I don't really think about this too much. So, but I want to think about it with you so that I can show you different ones. So we're going to do this one, and we're going to have it just be a little bit larger spaces that we can draw something in. So it's very much more like a blend of the two that you've just done. Okay, so before I do anything else, I really want to add some weight to that line. So I'm going to bring my brush pen in, and I'm going to go back over this line that I just drew. Turning my page. Adding extra weight to this line just does something beautiful, doesn't it? And you could have drawn it with the heavier line at first. That's a way to do this and not have to go over your line again. Just, you know, figure out how you want to do it. Okay, I like that. All right, now we're going to go inside. I'm going to grab another pen. I'm going to grab a 5.5 instead of the 0.7 I was using, just to give a little bit of weight variation to my line. Now this is a tangle. I really like to fill this with this one as well. This is a lot of fun for me. So here we go. All right, so I love doing this, and it's just little paw prints. So I'm going to do an oval, and then I'm going to do 2 or 3 little paw prints, as though somebody is walking through the painting, or this isn't a painting, but somebody's walking through. I like to keep all of my paws going in the same direction, so it looks like they've walked along a little path. So I make sure that I keep turning where my little toes are, but it's up to you. You know, it doesn't matter. And if you do them the wrong way, it can just look like somebody was walking backwards on one part. I mean, there's no right or wrong. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Nobody knows what you hoped for when you were creating this. No one knows what that vision was inside your head. And so if you don't share it, no one knows the difference. They're just looking at your art going, wow, that is absolutely beautiful. So I always recommend that people don't tell other people what they don't like about their art. Instead, just share your art and see what other people say, because there's so many times where I've created something and I haven't really been all that terribly fond of it. And then I share it, and other people come back and they see things in it that I didn't see. and I have a whole new appreciation for what I've done. Or they mention something and I'm like, that's what it needs. And then I add that final piece. So I always find it extremely helpful to allow other people to give me their opinion instead of me sharing what I think is wrong. And I'm just going to keep turning my page because I want not only my wrist to be comfortable while I'm doing this, but I want all of these little paw prints to kind of look the same. And if my hand is in the same position drawing them, then they look more same. Now I'm doing these quite symmetrical, and this is not normal for me at all. I'm shocked actually that these are all like, this looks like just a little footpath. Normally I've got these things different sizes, and you know, some are sort of facing off the edge, but I really like this. This is nice. The cats are chirping. We have Maine Coons, 3 Maine Coons and 2 ragdolls, and the Maine Coons make the most interesting noises. So I don't know if it picked up on the mic, but they were just underneath my chair. Making their noises, some of their noises. Isn't this cute? Now I do recommend, like, replay the parts where I show you how to draw the ribbon and just watch it. If you're having any problems at all, just watch it. Watch what I do a few times, and then it's just paper. It's only paper. And the best part is that when you go to do this, maybe you're going to discover a new tangle that you love. Maybe that's what's going to happen for you, because that's how this one was created. So, you know, total mistake. Here we go. Okay. Sorry, that just spun on camera. So there we go. That's the 3 we have so far. So you can see how this one, especially with that nice heavy edge, you can really see how it twists from one to the other, one to the other, one to the other. Here we go. I'm going to do a few more. Let's bring this one in here. Oh, I'm sorry. I just overlapped over myself. Okay, so we're gonna do this because it's happening. I wasn't gonna go this hard, like this complicated, but apparently I don't listen to myself very well. Sorry guys. Okay, so I'm getting to the part where I have clearly drawn, I've got a space here where I'm gonna have things coming underneath, right? So, and I draw from this end. So I'm going to pause here to give space for this part of the tangle to be drawn. And I want to make sure that I'm on the right side of my line. So this is my line that is my second line. And if you're worried that you're not going to know what's, your first and your second line, just like grab something and go, okay, this is my second line. And I've marked it now so that I know at this end which one is my second line. That's probably the most difficult part of this. Once you start weaving, is you start to lose track of which one is which. So now this line is coming. Now I'm gonna know that I would have crossed back here. So about here, I'm gonna start that line again, And I'm going to come and weave around. Now it's going to go behind this one and in and around and up. Okay, so there we go. Now I've got this big space between. It can just be a big space. That's how I leave it. I don't worry about it. If I want, I might shade it in. I just sort of figure it out as I go along. But I did add the brush onto that. So because of that, I'm going to continue that on these other ones, because I want it to have a sense of making sense. So now we'll add the weight in on this second line. Add a bit more in some spots that I kind of missed a bit. That's fine. Okay, what do we want to do with this? Let's grab, for this one, let's just grab a, do I want a different color marker? Maybe I'll do that. No, I'm going to do color choices. Okay, we're using a Derwent Color Soft Steel Gray, because that's what I've got. And I'm going to do this all in steel gray without a pattern on it. I planned on doing a pattern, and then it doesn't want one. So I'm just going to follow this around, and I'm just going to color in like it's a coloring book all these spaces with gray. Now it doesn't have to be solid gray the whole way, or it can be. It's entirely up to me. Make this edge a bit darker since it's going behind that one. Okay, so here's a good example. You know, there's the space, and this is all gray. So how far do I want to take it? About here. Give it a nice non-even edge coming off. And then I'm going to do the same here. Just an uneven. I said non-even. Yeah, I guess that works, but yeah, uneven. English is my first language. I often joke about that. Anyways, some days I wonder. Okay. Here we go. This is turning out lovely. I'm really happy with this. I have cat hair, like, just stuck all over my face, it feels like. Okay. And I still got my trusty microphone. And here we come up to the end of this one. Okay, so we're getting our darks, we're getting our lights. We could use a lot more dark, couldn't we? But it's looking good. Okay, so something that I love to do when I am doing ribbons is making little worlds within the folds of the ribbon. And I'm going to do that now in here. So I've grabbed my 0.5 pen and I'm just going to do some tipple. And I'm going to make sure that it's really, really round tipple. So often I go for more of an organic shape with my tipple, but right now I want it to be really quite round. Just mirroring that shape that's in the center. Okay, and I'm going to do some here. Some up here. Just so that it makes sense to my eye. That it's here. Trying to decide how I want to do this. I think I'm going to just put a space. There we go. Oh, Rory, off you go. Off you go, baby. Off you go. So this is Rory, one of our Maine Coons. She's going to come and help. I think Pars is coming to fetch her now. Thank you, sweetheart. Hi, Royster. She is our most naughty cat. If there is a way to get outside, she will find it. So she shows us all of the flaws to our cat proofing, and then we have to fix it. So she's a helper. Okay, so I'm gonna just add a bit of shading into this tipple. I really wanted to focus a lot more on ribbons, and now here I am doing tipple. So, you know, this is what you get when you hang out with me. A little bit of that, a little bit of this. You know, whether you draw what I draw, whether you just, you know, have my voice playing behind you while you're doing the dishes and just listening. Either way, let's pause what we're doing now. Put our tools down, put the dishcloth down, give your shoulders a little bit of a wiggle. Feel where your sit bones and your feet are. Connect with them. And now we're going to take a nice, beautiful inhalation of breath and hold it and release. And here we go. Okay, where was I? Ah, yes. Tipple. Getting a bit of shading. when I do this on my own, I never shade as I go. The shading is the end. I always do all the drawing first. I like to stop and do a little bit of shading with you guys in case you're only wanting to see that part of the video of just that particular part of the tangle. I want you to be able to see it with ease without having to sit through an hour. Oh, I missed one. Here we go, this one here too. So this is looking better. So let's add another tangle. And let's add one with some pattern to it. Just got to get a bit more curvature in these tipple. Because if they're going to be shaded, then they need to be shaded. Okay, I'm ready, I'm back. Thank you, after this brief message from our sponsor, me. Okay, here we go. We're gonna do another one that's up here, but I'm gonna draw it upside down because I want the page to make a bit more sense to myself. So I'm gonna bring it from here. No, I wanna bring it from something. I wanna bring it from here. So I'm gonna start on this side, and I'm going to curve it around this, and I'm going to come in and fill that spot. And that's one of the nice things about this tangle. It can fill anywhere. Like, it can be your string if you want. It can be whatever you want it to be. So we've got this. So let's give ourselves some nice larger shapes to work within. Okay, there we go. Tiny bit of behind, little bit of a challenge, not too much. Okay, so let me think for a moment on what I want to put in this one. So far, these are like probably my favorite ways of doing it is these four. Now, there's other ways of doing it, and I've done some examples for you where you can put things like, you know, Knightsbridge, or even fill it with tipple. You can do all kinds. Ooh, let's fill this one with tipple. We've got tipple, so let's add more tipple. We've got sort of a circle theme going here, so let's do that. So when I am going to fill this particular tangle with tipple, I try to make a decision on where I want it to be weighted. So you want to look at the piece and say, okay, so if this is going to be how I'm going to, say, frame it and hang it or whatever, you're going to make a decision on where you want it to be. Obviously, with this tipple, I've already made the decision that this is my bottom. And so I'm going to look at these spaces and look at where I can put the tipple that's going to weight it down, right? So in here, in this spot, like we want things to pull it down and make it look heavy. So we're doing non-representational art, but if you're an artist, you know that even within your non-representational art, you want to follow some of the rules that you have. And so that's kind of what I'm doing, is having that part added in. Okay, so let's start off in this top space, and we will do a lovely tipple in here. I was watching Rick and Maria, the founders of Zentangle. They have videos that they've released for us as instructors now, and I've been watching the videos, and it's interesting hearing how they think through their own process as they, you know, fill a tangle or, you know, create a line, how they look at that line, as opposed to perhaps how I look at it or somebody else looks at it. I love hearing from artists how they view what they're creating. I find that I grow so much. So personally, I don't tend to do art along with classes. I just watch them. So even if I'm signed up for a workshop or something like that online, I might attend live, but I don't actually do what they're doing while they're doing it. I just watch. And if I'm doing any art at all, it's doing something that I don't really have to pay attention to, so that I can really pay attention to the screen. Because I don't learn well like if I can't see what you're doing. I need to, like, I'm a visual learner, so it really, really helps me to be able to watch a person's hand move and see, oh, is that how you do that? That's how you've created that particular look or that line. That's really helpful to me. And I'm hoping that it's helpful to you as well. And that listening to my voice while I draw is helping you to relax. Remember to breathe. Over as far as this. These are much larger tipples than I usually draw. In here for the end piece. And let's do some here. So we're just weighting down these edges right now. Or not, I mean, you do you. But what I'm doing is I am weighting down these edges. If you hear what sounds like, things falling and things, that's just the cats. We're trying something new. We're letting them be in the room while I'm teaching. Normally I lock them away in the upper half of the house. Don't feel bad for them. It's not a small house. People, lots of room. And they have a nice outdoor space up there too, so they love it. But I am trying to just leave them in the room with me. We'll see. See how they do. Okay. Now I'm going to do a bit here. How much do I want in this little piece? Some tipple in. And I'm going to go in and do a bit of shading in the tipple, just real quick. Starting to run out of steam, so I'm going to finish up this piece with you. So I want to just talk through a bit more of the shading here. So this one I already did using the marker, but I'm going to go back in so that the shading matches the rest in the piece. And then I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a bit of shadow here into these corners, and then just a little bit around each one of the dark side of those portals. Now, I gotta tell you, if you are not in a country where your humidity is like 85%, like it is here, using graphite and going in with your Tourlion and just really making that graphite soft on those edges is so pretty. I highly recommend you do it. I really am only doing this with the pencils, because the colored pencils, because it's just too humid here for me to use graphite most of the time, and especially not while I'm trying to teach. But I love the look of it, so highly recommend it. We've got a little bit of shading on there, on the outside of the portals, and then just in the edges, in the corners there, in the twist, that's what it is, the twist. Okay, so this bottom, I'm going to add just a little bit into the twist here. This has actually turned into a much longer class than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be very short. So that's kind of cool. You know, with only one tangle to teach, it's a bit more of a challenge to... Anyways, that is looking good, I think. So now, now we have this guy. Just a bit of shading. You can see we're just trying to show that there's the twist, right? We want to accentuate that twist so that everybody sees that nice little twist. And then we can keep going darker. Like, I think that this needs a lot more dark on it. Oh, I know what I could do. Oh, this is going to be fun. Okay, I need a brush pen. I need a black, and now I'm going to, no, I'm not going to use a brush pen. I'm going to use the 05. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to go in and I'm going to use this as though it is a dangle. Now, in Zentangle, there is also dangles where you put some kind of a structure across the top and then you hang things from it. And in essence, that's what this is, right? It's a dangle. So let's take that dangleness of it and let's make it even more dangly. So let's go in and add in just some little organic lines coming in. Is a really light line with a dot on it. Like I'm trying to really just barely kiss the page. And there's a lot of ink in this pen, so it's not doing the little skipping that I like it to do, but that's okay. It can be solid. Okay, I'm gonna add some more here. Oh, isn't that looking cute? What a difference that makes, just adding those into the center. Huge difference for me, just absolutely massive. Okay, so I absolutely have to add a slug. This is so just begging for one. So I'm gonna put the slug coming up along this top edge. And if you haven't drawn a slug with me before, just watch what I'm doing with my pen. So I'm coming around. I want a heavy line at this top, so I can follow this one as many times as I want, and I can do the same with underneath here to make this really heavy. But just going back and forth does enough of it, to be quite honest. You don't have to go and add to the line. But here we go, we just go back and forth, and we don't want it to be too like straightforward because it's an organic thing, right? So we want it to be all like organic looking. Him. Oh, I just love slugs. So this is my mojo. This is my jam, 100%. What you're seeing on this page, this is totally Aleesha Sattva, 100%. I just love doing organic tiles. I love wonky. I'll take a wonky line any day, guys. Any day of the week. You give me wonky, yeah. You're not gonna see me using rulers. No, thank you. Like me wonky. Let's get these guys shaded because they're not done yet. Shadow. The shading is just like the cat's meow on these things though. For me, I love shading. And sometimes you think you've done a piece and then you go back the next day and you're like, oh, that could use a little bit more shadow. So don't be afraid to keep working on a piece, even when you think you're done. If you go back and you need more, I give you permission, even if you've taken a photo, even if you shared it on social media. If you want to add more, I give you permission to do that. The reason I give you permission to do that is because I, for a long time, thought that, oh, once I've shared it, that's it. Like, I have to leave this portrait how it is now. I can't fix it. And so I never went back and fixed it. And it took a lot for me to give myself permission to start going back. It's like I thought I was cheating if I went back and I worked on it some more. Like, I don't know. I don't look at it that way anymore. So if you need permission to break the rules, bend the guidelines, make whatever you're doing yours, I give you permission. Look at it up here. Okay, we were saying we need more dark, and we definitely do. And that adding in that center didn't take care of what I wanted to take care of. So now I'm going to add some more dark, and I'm going to do it somewhere in here. But what I had an idea to do, I can't do now because I was going to do awe. But now I've turned this into the, in essence, the awe. If you remember that pattern, it is. In one of my other classes. Anyways, I could do a small awe here. Yeah, let's do a small awe here so I can show you what I'm talking about. I hate mentioning a tangle and then saying to you, yeah, I'm not going to teach it. So who cares? If it doesn't look good with this, then we'll find out that it doesn't look good with this, and that's easy enough. So I'm going to go with the 05 for the smaller. Do I want a smaller line? No, I'm going to start with the brush pen, and then I'm going to go to the 05. Okay, so I'm going to start off, and I'm going to bring in some first lines. So, with awe, you're going to be creating a negative space, circle, square, whatever shape you want to create in here. So we're going to do a circle. So you're going to create negative space. So you want to think about where you're starting, and then you want to bring that line straight out. And right now we're just, in essence, cutting this into fours. Where your line is starting so that it creates the circle. So you can see the circle forming in the center. And so now we look at the piece and we say, does it need more dark? I think it could use a tiny bit more. So I'm going to add a few more lines. I am going to do them all with the brush pen. I wasn't going to, but I'm really, really liking the way this is looking. So now I'm just going in and I'm thinking about where I'm starting that line because it's creating that circle for me, remember? taken some of these into the hole behind to really accentuate the fact that we've got those. Trying to figure out which is up and which is down. Okay, so that is looking good. So with awe, one of the nice things is that you can go in with your graphite and you can find that center circle that you want to accentuate. And then if you take your graphite and you just ever so softly just go around, you can really accentuate that circle for yourself and make it so it stands out more. Okay, so other than a few last bit pieces here and there to make this perfect for myself, this is pretty much done. So I'm going to add in a circle with some circles around it, because this again is sort of another signature thing that I do. So I make a circle, sometimes it's solid, and then I put either dots or circles around it. I usually do at least 3. Sometimes more. I have cat hair on the end of my pen. So I'm drawing with cat hair. Really, it's very expensive, very chic. Yeah, not at all. Okay, let's see how that looks. Just these little bits, you know, it just finishes it off, in my opinion. It just takes those spots that maybe there wasn't anything and just adds a tiny little flavor. That's all we're trying to do. So I'm pretty happy with this. I like that this is very transparent and that I chose not to shade these corners at all. I like the way that that sort of finishes it off at the top. I really love the heavy weight of this line on this guy here. Like, that's really, really awesome. Yeah, this turned out really nice. So, this is Ribbonz, and wonderful things can happen if you just let them. So if you make a mistake, don't crumple up that piece of paper. Just keep working on it, because eventually it might turn into something that's you love so much that you end up hanging on your wall. And on that note, before I say goodbye, is your art on the wall? Do you put your art on the refrigerator? And if you don't, why don't you? Get your art up there. Look at it every day. Appreciate who you are as an artist, regardless of the level of artist you are. An artist is one who draws. And that's what you're doing. That makes you an artist. Just like if you can play an instrument, you're a musician. Now, it doesn't mean you're a professional musician, and it doesn't say what rank you're, how good you are. You're still a musician. So, you, my friend, are an artist. Welcome to the club. And I hope that you had a good time today doing this. I want to take a breath with you before we say goodbye. Let's just do that together. Just close your eyes. Feel your sit bones again in your feet. Take an intake of breath and hold it. And release. I hope that you'll join me again for another session of creating tangles. And if not me, my husband does a beautiful creative writing live, which is, it's either bi-weekly or weekly. It's going weekly in September. So depending on when this video goes out, which I think is very close to September, is when he's going weekly. So do check that out. And we have lots of other YouTube videos with other instructors teaching you art for free. Come join us. Bye for now.